Fucking bikers, too loud around here.
What's up, everyone? How you doing? Welcome to the show. Tonight we're going to be doing our second half of ABATE. Right now we were having a little technical difficulty with the setup right now. We got a big old snowstorm up here in northern Illinois, so hopefully everything stays good from here on out. But yeah, it's going nuts, man. We didn't have a winter all this year, and all of a sudden the last 2 weeks, it's crazy. But tonight, let's go into our second part of the ABATE interview. Later on, we'll be talking more. And hopefully, I think we got Hot Rod coming on later tonight. So enjoy that. I'll be up in the chat room with you guys. And let's have some fun. Be right next to.
Okay, yeah. Most people are. I'm state events. So I put on the seminar and I put on what we call our field meet. I have a committee, and we work together to get a really fun time for everybody. As far as supplies, I have a committee for that. I'm just kind of orchestrating a lot of it. But I wanted to go back a couple things that you asked Nicole. So, I met Gloria Struck down in Florida last year at Bike Week. She's been in motorcycles since 1947 when she joined the Motor Maids. Women have been in motorcycling for a lot of years, and the last statistics I looked at was from 2015. 25% of us were women riders. So I just want to give you some stats because I also am a rider coach, or I used to be a rider coach. I worked for Vince, and as far as dealing with the gender thing, most guys appreciate a little corrective action, except for the people that you ride with. I learned that very quick. So you can't correct your fellow riders that, hey, what are you doing over here? They don't take it very well. So yeah, if they have problems, I just go say take a class. It's not that expensive. Here in Michigan, they can take a class for $50. And that's where you can get additional training if you need it, one-day class or weekend training if you're just learning. I say it's like a bucket list thing. If you haven't done it, you want to try it. It's a great way to start. Go take a rider course, and for $50, you can find out, hey man, I really like this. I'm gonna go buy a bike or a beater bike to start with, or man, this is not for me. I'm getting on the back of my own man's bike. So that's kind of how that works.
Now, you mentioned Gloria. Now, she's a legend within the motorcycle club or the motorcycle community and the Motor Maids as well. Them girls are something else. Some of those Motor Maids made some cross-country trips that even a lot of men can't make. So, Gloria, we love you, honey. She was something to aspire to. Now, when you met her, what did you think?
Well, you know what? She did not have her bike in Florida with her. I think she just had some sort of surgery or something, but she still rides that Harley that she has. And her first bike was an Indian, which is what I ride. So I'm pretty happy with the different bikes that I've had through my years of riding, and it's been a lot of fun. But Gloria we bought her book, and we drove down to Florida from Michigan, and then all the way back, I read her book. It was great. We both enjoyed it. It's so awesome, the things that she did at a very young time when you didn't see women riders that much. So it was pretty cool.
What kind of bike do you got?
I have an Indian Scout. I used to have a Honda Goldwing, and then I had a Yamaha Roadstar. Went down to a little smaller bike because we travel a little more, and so when we go far distance, we like to have a home base and then check out the area with our bike. That's the kind of riding we've done now. We used to do a lot of long distance rides, but as we get a little older, we like to have the comfort of our trailer and our toy hauler, and we enjoy that a lot. And that's the type of riding. And the Scouts are a lot easier to load. I do all the loading and unloading because my husband has some handicap issues, and so of course we did it when I was a rider coach. We loaded them trailers up, so that's how that works. So I'm kind of used to doing it that way.
Now you bring up the golden question. You're riding an Indian Scout, and there's a big competition finally again in motorcycle manufacturers, and that is Indian versus Harley. And I got to tell you, Indian's winning, because you know what? I've owned Harley after Harley after Harley, and the way the company's going now, I got my Fat Boy. That's the last one I'm going to own, and I'm going to Indian. How do you think the Indian rides, and what's special about the Indian to you?
Well, for me, it's the ease of ride. It's a very easy bike to ride. You can do almost anything on that Scout. It's nice, and you don't sacrifice power. You need power, you got it. You know, so that's the nicest thing that I like about my bike. I know that a lot of, like, we went to the TT races down in Daytona. It was a blast. We had a great time, and that's when I saw those races, and we had so much fun. We got to meet the riders. We got to see the bikes. It was great. 2 years in a row now. So Indian does that for us. As a IMRG member, you can go to those races for free.
Rock on. Now, you are involved in a lot of the events that ABATE does in Michigan. What goes into planning, say, the state rally? How crazy does it get? Because I'm a big fan of ABATE parties. I am. I love them. They're crazy, and it's what it used to be. You know, that's what a party is supposed to be about. I remember the old hill climbs and flat track racing back in the old days. Those are making a comeback now. But what's some of the stuff that you have at your state parties?
Well, so like our field meet, we usually get a beer truck, and we go through getting different kinds of beers, so to satisfy the majority of people. We also have bike games. They have some rides. One of our members last year did a beautiful job, and she did all this mapping out of some great rides in the upper part of Michigan, and not the UP, but the upper part of Michigan. It was great, and she's doing it again this year. She does a great job, and she hands them out for anybody that wants to take a ride. So riding, of course, is a big part of it, but also it's the camaraderie amongst our fellow ABATE members. And what happens there is, even here in Lansing at our seminar, and again at the field meet, it's about learning what they're doing and what's working for that region that could follow through and work for other regions. And that's the nicest part, is because we learn something from each other. And the seminar is all about learning. And it's in our name. ABATE is American Bikers Aiming Towards Education. It's about being educated and knowing what your rights are, and knowing how things work in different places. So that's what that's about.
When is your state rally this year? Because I know, because I was supposed to come up this weekend, but had some health issues come up. When is your state rally? Because that one I'm making.
Okay, it's in June. It's the 7th, 8th, and 9th, I think. I don't have my calendar in front of me. This is the field meet I'm talking about. The Freedom Rally is in February, but the party, the field meet is in June, the 7th, 8th, and 9th of June. And we have this beautiful campground, 111 acres, right on the Sturgeon River. There's a beautiful pond that you can swim in. There's beautiful roads once you get past the dirt part of it, because there's dirt roads leading to it, but there is a beautiful campground there. These people are working with us wonderfully, and we are just so excited to have everybody together and do it again. So I'm January, June, January. That's kind of how it works for me.
Now, where is it located at? Where's the party going to be held? How much it is to join and all that stuff? The camping, how much is the camping?
Well, Hot Rod said he'd take care of you, but for your listening audience, I'm here to tell you that if you join ABATE, you must be an ABATE member, and you can come to the field meet. But if you are an ABATE member, it's $15 a person, $25 a couple. But if you wait till last minute and come to the gate, it's $25 at the gate per person.
Rock on. And now, does that include camping and all that good stuff?
It includes camping. We do a buck of beer.
A buck of beer. That's awesome. You guys out there hear that? A buck of beer.
Yeah, Michigan is legal.
Yeah. Okay, you're hearing people in the background telling me, make sure you tell them Michigan's legal. So, yeah, you know what that means. A little smoke.
Rock and roll, man. You see that sign behind me? It says Route 420. See, I don't drink, but I'll smoke a freaking, yeah. I love Michigan.
Okay, we got time. We got other people that want to talk to you, so it's been a pleasure. I will hopefully see you and talk to you soon, Hollywood.
Rock and roll. I'll see you in June. I'm definitely going to come up for that one.
Awesome. Take care.
Hollywood, I got somebody that's working on Washington, D.C. This is an MRF representative that's high on his profiling stuff and his other. Here she comes. Her name is Tiffany. I'll let her say her last name because I don't even know it.
Hey, Hollywood.
Hey, how you doing, honey? Your name is Tiffany?
Yeah, I'm Tiffany Chiplotti. I'm with the Motorcycle Riders Foundation in Washington, D.C.
Oh,
So
Motorcycle Riders Foundation. That is one that we love. You guys are awesome. You guys do a hell of a lot of work for us. And kudos to you guys. You're awesome. I got to give you that. What is your position with the motor? I'm glad that I actually got somebody from Motorcycle Riders Foundation on, especially with what's going on out west. Wow, what's your position? That's awesome.
Director of Operations.
Okay. Now, what's your guys' involvement or viewpoint on what's going on in Cali?
And specifically, well, I can tell you 2.5 years ago, the Motorcycle Riders Foundation connected with some different motorcycle club organizations in conjunction with the MPP, the Motorcycle Profiling Project, and we decided kind of the profiling issue that's been going on in this country since the unfortunate incident in Waco has happened. It's been even our members who may not even wear a patch have reported incidents that they feel like they're being singled out by law enforcement. So we came to Congress and we put up one in the House and one in the Senate, anti-profiling resolution. Sorry, Hot Rod just stood on the back of my head. Telling me to speak up.
Always fun at an ABATE meeting.
Sorry, I'll get louder. So we went to Congress and we had 2 resolutions written acknowledging the issue of motorcycle profiling in this country, and there's an educational component to that to help educate law enforcement that maybe you should target someone out for, the type of motorcycle or the apparel they're wearing while they're out riding bikes. And in December, before this last Congress ended, we were able to get the Senate anti-motorcycle profiling resolution passed. It passed with unanimous consent. Unfortunately, we ran out of time to finish the one in the House, but we fully intend to reintroduce that and keep working on that issue in Washington, D.C.
Now, how do we get it to go from resolution to actual getting one of these representatives or senators to actually introduce it as a bill? Because one thing that's worrying a lot of our listeners, mainly in California, is this new exhaust law that they have out there. And they're worried that this exhaust law is going to be a prelude just for Leo or law enforcement to use to profile somebody.
Yeah, to stop and check. Right now we're really trying to just bring light to the issue in Congress. It's surprising how many representatives have never even heard from a motorcyclist that they've experienced this issue. So we're going to continue with the hopes is that we get both resolutions done and that organizations can go back to their state and pass laws. There's currently 2 states in this country out of 50 that even have profiling legislation on the books. That's Washington State and Maryland. California and a half a dozen other states are also pursuing the issue. We initially, whenever we started talking about a legislative solution. We did try to go to Congress with a clean legislative bill. Once they shopped that around to legislative services, it got kicked back because what we were asking for they deemed to be unconstitutional. So at this juncture, we're not exactly sure what the path forward will be on federal legislation because it was deemed unconstitutional because they couldn't tell the states they had to enforce it. So I think the best practice is going to be that the laws are going to have to be passed at home in their state capitals.
Now, you bring up an excellent point when you say representatives don't know about the issue and stuff like that. The biker community has a huge number of people, and that makes us a huge voting bloc. But we don't get out there and vote, or we don't get involved. What kind of stuff that does bikers or riders or enthusiasts, whatever you want to call it, have to do to get more involved? You know, they got to understand that they got a voice, and the only way to get some of the stuff fixed is they got to get out there and vote.
Exactly. You know, step number one for the everyday biker is join your local ABATE, your state ABATE. Get involved in a state motorcyclist rights organization. Show up whenever they're having a lobby day. Email your representative whenever they ask you that they're working on a piece of legislation. If your representative or your senator doesn't hear from you, they're never going to work on your issue. The only way they're going to want to, you know, even come up with an opinion on it is they have to hear from you. So step number one is get involved with your state ABATE and start meeting these people. I can tell you ABATE of Michigan has a great relationship with the congressman in Washington, D.C., and that's because they started whenever he was in office in Michigan. They volunteered, they pounded in yard signs for him when he was running, and I don't know, 20-some years later, Tim Walberg continues to champion for motorcyclists in Washington, D.C. on any issue. He is a motorcyclist, so he does care. So yeah, it's explaining an issue to someone that has probably never even sat on a motorcycle, probably has never even talked to a biker. Sometimes their impression of motorcyclists might be because, you know, one time they watched the movie Easy Rider or, you know, thought I've seen Sons of Anarchy. So it's just important. You're a voter. They need to hear from you.
Now, that aside, with the Motorcycle Riders Foundation, are you guys going to be filing an amicus brief in the Mongols Patch case?
We have not been involved in the Mongols case in California. No one has ever reached out to us to work on that specifically. Our organization, we're not legal services, so we handle legislation in Washington, D.C. So I'm not quite sure what sort of impact that we could have in that, but I mean, we're more than probably happy to spread the word, you know, pass information along. We do closely, we work with the, like I said, the MPP, the Motorcycle Profiling Project, so we are aware of the issue, but our organization, we don't have legal services.
Rock on. Double D, he works with you guys, don't he?
He does. So every year the MPP, they have a survey out on the internet where they're asking people to, you know, it's usually 10 questions. It takes people 10 minutes. It gives people to report profiling incidents around the country. And it's really important that people do that because this year at our annual lobby day in Washington, D.C., the MPP gave us state-by-state information, and we were able to make up forms. So, you know, when Michigan went in to see their representatives, they could say, this is the data that's been collected. Either, you know, they need just, you know, to let them know there is an issue. These are the incidents. Profiling happening. So having that data is really important. And if your listeners have never checked out the MPP's website or participated in their survey, please do, because that information is valuable in our fight to end motorcycle profiling.
Rock on. You know what? I love Double D, man. He works tirelessly for the motorcycle clubs, and I know the COC's involved in a lot of stuff, but your organization does a lot for us, and I got to thank you. You guys are awesome with what all you're doing with the politicians and stuff like that. We're lucky to have you guys.
Yep. Yeah, thank you. All right.
Rock and roll.
I got another special guest for you here today. This is Government Affairs AMA Representative Mike.
Mike, how you doing from AMA?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. Okay, my first question to you with AMA, man, this is going to have to be a fun one here. Okay, did it or did it not happen? 1%, 99% here.
The official story is that is apocryphal, that it never happened.
I know, man. I just had to start that out with you guys. I actually help do a lot with AMA on our end and stuff. I love, you know, how you guys started and all that good stuff, how you sanction stuff, how you back the motorcycle community. You guys got a lot of good programs as far as insurances, stuff like that. But what's your position, you know, specifically?
I am the government affairs manager for on-road issues. So our government relations team's divided between on-road and off-road. You know, we both have similar issues, but the areas of law and legislation are so different that we've got two different people for that. And we've got a third guy, who's Nick Harris, who's out of California, who handles both for the 8 western states as the western state representative. And then we have Director of Government Relations, Greg Pecoraro, and our Vice President of Government Relations, former Senator Wayne Allard. And that makes up the government relations team in Washington, D.C.
Rock on. Now, how long has the AMA been around? For a lot of people that are new to this, coming into the lifestyle, and me personally, you know, I got the links on Harley Liberty and all that good stuff and all our stuff to the AMA. I really think not only ABATE, but you should get involved with AMA. How long has it been around?
Been around since 1924, and we've had an office in D.C. since the mid or early 90s. I always forget the exact year, but we've had a presence there for quite a while now.
Rock on. Now, what is now you're with the government affairs. What do you do specifically as far as getting, you know, say motorcycle profiling issues or helmet laws or stuff like that? What do you do specifically?
I'm kind of all over the map. So I do everything from, you know, I have a member who calls in and they have an issue where there's a sound ordinance in their local community that's going to ban motorcycle noise over a certain level that is completely unreasonable, where I've got to work with that member in that local community, up to any state legislation where we work with SMROs like ABATE or other groups on legislation they want or issues they're having, where we can lend our expertise and our help where we can. And then federal issues anywhere from automated vehicles to ethanol issues, anywhere in between. So I've had a hand in any form of that. It just depends on what the issue of the day is. There's some things that we're always dealing with, whether it's mandatory helmet laws or, you know, the new big shiny thing is the automated vehicles. It's something I spent a ton of time working on, primarily at the federal level. But there's, you know, pick a day, it could be a different thing.
Well, you know, you bring up something, two things I'd like to ask you with what you just said. First one is the automated vehicles. Now, that's some scary stuff right there. But also, you got companies like BMW coming out with motorcycles that drive themselves. You know, I might be old school and stuff. I'm not the younger generation who thinks it's all cool with this you know, self-drive, you know, these cars that drive by themselves. I don't think the technology is there to watch out for motorcycle riders. That's just me personally.
Yeah, that's something that's what the AMA, along with the MRF and as well as the motorcycle manufacturers through Harley and the Motorcycle Industry Council, the 4 of us have been working together at the federal level to make sure we're included in any regulation or legislation to make sure those vehicles can see us, because right now our concern is that we're at best an afterthought, and that's certainly not good enough.
Now, what is your position on these self-driving motorcycles? One that I guess BMW's coming out with. I seen it in action, and I'm just like, well, this is two wheels. This, who would put their life to a bike that drives itself?
Now, if you ask BMW about it, that is a bike that is not ever intended for consumers to actually have. Their position, what they describe it as, this is a vehicle that they can take that motorcycle, drive it alongside other automated vehicles, and see and test how well that automated car can detect a motorcycle without risking a motorcycle rider. So for our purposes, if we want to make sure motorcyclists are seen by automated vehicles, we want them to have a motorcycle they can test with without putting a motorcyclist's life in danger. So that self-riding BMW is a way to do that. So that's a positive thing. And you know, if God forbid one day that becomes something that they want to sell, somebody out there might buy one. I certainly won't be that person, but I think in their descriptions of it, they were at the Consumer Electronics Show this past week in Las Vegas. They did some demos of it there. I think Cycle World had a quick write-up on it. And in BMW's description of it, it's a vehicle that they can test with around other automated or semi-automated vehicles.
That would be nice if they don't sell it, but we're, you know, as we move forward, it's like we're going into the Tron age. You're probably old enough to remember that movie Tron, but that's what bikes look like. It's going. Now, one of the biggest things that I kind of don't agree with the AMA on is aftermarket exhaust. Why is AMA taking the position against that? As far as, you know, loud pipes save lives stuff, but AMAs came out, I think I read an article, and I think it's actually on their website, that they actually don't approve of that type of stuff.
Well, I think we've had an official position state for, you know, about twice as, 40 years, longer than I've been alive, about, you know, we had cleared out our office and we found stuff from the 1940s and 50s about that issue, where excessively loud motorcycles, it's one thing to modify your motorcycle, it's one thing to make it so loud that you make motorcyclists a target. And I was talking about how we hear, and this is on-road and off-road, when one of the number one things we have to deal with somebody who is trying to, they may have had an aftermarket exhaust, or they have a stock one. I personally have aftermarket parts on my bike, and as including an exhaust, and I'm not alone in the AMA staff that's true for it. But we have to deal with so often is a town, a county, or there'll be somebody moves in that dirt bike track in the backyard, or that local bike night at a bar that's been okay for the last 20 years. Somebody decides that's not okay anymore because of one or two people whose bikes are about, you know, twice as loud as the next guy's bike. And that's not just because that, you know, half the people there have run an aftermarket exhaust. It's just most of those people are somewhat reasonable about it. So we're not necessarily against aftermarket exhaust. We're more against the unreasonably loud bikes that cause a trouble for everybody else. Because the folks that do that, they're not going to show up to that city hall meeting to try and fight that ordinance. It's us and our members and ABATE members that have to show up and fight that fight. To that restrictive ordinance that only applies to motorcycles, that makes it incredible hassle. It makes us a target. And if we, you know, there's a thing about, we're responsible when it comes to education, we're responsible when it comes to safety. There's a thing about being a responsible road user, and that's just one aspect of it.
Right. Now, that aside, well, you guys hate me, man. You to hear my pipes in the next state. But as far as AMA, they do a lot of sanctioning of events, and one of the biggest things is flat track racing, and that has finally made a comeback. And you know, when I first got in, it was huge. Now it's making a comeback. Indian, you're whooping ass with the flat tracking and stuff like that. Well, how does somebody go about getting one of their events sanctioned by AMA?
You know, that's a good question, and as in my world at the AMA in government relations, that's not one I have a good answer to. Our racing department and our recreational riding, we sanction a lot of recreational events as well. They're the folks that can answer that, and if you send an email to, grassroots at ama-cycle.com or .org, excuse me, I'll connect you to the right people on that, but that's not a question I actually have an answer to, because it's my world is is legislation, regulation, and advocacy. Sanctioning is something that's kind of outside my personal wheelhouse.
Rock on. I just wanted to get that on record. That way they know where to go and stuff like that. What's your biggest project on Capitol Hill right now as far as motorcyclist rights?
I think it's right back to that automated vehicles thing. With the new legislative session, we've got to go back to the drawing board. There were two bills, one in the House and the Senate last session, that the House passed theirs, but the Senate didn't pass theirs last session. So we got to go back to the drawing board. So we have another opportunity to make sure motorcycles are included in a robust and way that makes motorcyclists feel, I don't think we'll be ever feel truly comfortable with these things on the road, but the status quo right now is completely unacceptable, and we've got a lot of work to do to improve that status quo. So that's our biggest project, along with the AMA. Like I said, the AMA, the MRF, Harley, and the MIC are all working together on that one, because we all have 8 times out of 10 we're all on the same page, and this is one that we are very much on the same page for.
Okay, now all right, we're back after the Gremlins hit in Michigan with the AMA. I love talking to the AMA, the last guest, and before we got caught off by the Gremlins and stuff like that, he agrees that it was messed up and stuff like that. But now we got Jim Rose on. Jim, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. One more wonderful day in paradise here. It's like 15 degrees out and snowing like hell.
Oh my God, tell me about it. It sucks here. We got that yesterday, and now we're getting a cold.
There you are. So I'm the legislative director for ABATE of Michigan, and my objective is I was president in the 70s, and I was doing a lot of legislative activity, and my objective is to make motorcycle riders, bikers specifically, relevant to the state legislature. And the ABATE board is on first name basis with about 3/4 of the Michigan House and Senate. We got guys like Tim Walberg in Congress. So we're real active in getting stuff done.
Well, you just mentioned that you got involved in the 70s. Oh man, those were the days. But how was it for ABATE in the early days? Because the ABATE got started in the 70s. How was it there? Was it in Michigan you were involved with in the 70s, or
I got involved with ABATE on a national level. And also I was on the original board of the Motorcycle Riders Foundation in '86. So in the 70s, we got involved because we saw some problems with what the heck was going on here in Michigan. And after floundering for years, we determined that the only way to become relevant and to be heard was to be active in the political system. And the latest thing that I did that was pretty cool was I was an elector on the Electoral College here in Michigan when I got to stand up and vote, one of 16 people in Michigan who got to vote for Trump.
Rock and roll, Trump, our boy. How bad was it back in the 1970s for these younger guys? I call them New Jacks that don't understand. Being a biker back then wasn't cool like it is now.
No, well, I started riding in '66, and in the '70s, I remember riding across the country and stopped to take a picture of a billboard, and I won't tell you what the billboard had on it, in Mississippi. State cop pulled over and told me that, boy, you got to leave our state. And of course, I found the first bar that I could find in the next state over. Had the same problem in Georgia. My bike came out of adjustment, I'll say, and so I went into some small town, pulled into a gas station, and guy come out and said, "Man, your motorcycle," he didn't say man, he said, "Boy, your motorcycle's blocking my driveway." And I pushed my bike out into the street, got at a phone booth, and a county sheriff come in and said, "Hey, how long do you plan on being in our town?" And I said, as soon as I get my bike back in adjustment, I'm leaving. He says, well, you might as well just go straight to the state line.
And it was, you know what? That's one of the biggest things, especially on Motorcycle Madhouse, we talk about is the difficulty that a lot of the old timers had that they just don't understand nowadays. And you guys were trailblazers. I loved learning from the Vietnam era generation. You guys were awesome. That's how I came up. And the motorcycle profiling that's going on right now, especially down in Texas where there's an epicenter of it, and out in California, I don't think compares to what you guys had to go through. It's getting bad, but it's not as bad as it was.
Well, you know, I don't particularly worry about it. Never was really concerned. I knew there was an issue, I'll say, but we had every year in Michigan, I used to have a first day of riding season run on January 1st, New Year's Day, and we'd get, you know, up to 30 bikes out on a snowy day and ride and go to a pub, have a couple beers, watch a little football, and go home. The last several years after I'd been going on with this thing, we had some bartender, after we all ordered beer, tell us that we had to leave their bar. And so rather than give them any shit, we just, excuse me. Oh, okay. Rather than give them any shit, we just said, we're going to the next pub. And that all worked out great, except the next season, between Christmas and New Year's, I get a phone call from some guy and says, telling me that he was inviting us back to his bar. He didn't appreciate what his employees did. And we just said, hey, man, you didn't want us then, you ain't going to have us now. So we went and spent money elsewhere.
Rock on. Now, what kind of issues are different for you today compared to when you first start out? What was the issues of the day back then compared to what we're facing now?
Well, the primary issue was the motorcycle helmet law, and it took us 37 years to modify that bill for adult choice. How do you like that? And in the interim, since that time, we've passed probably a half dozen pieces of legislation to tighten up licensing programs, to mandate rider education, and so on and so forth. But the unifying issue was always the helmet law, which is what it was in most of the states. And now we've got legislators coming to us to ask for information as to what they can do to help us out. We've got several state representatives and senators in this state who are members of ABATE. So that's
now, you talk about the helmet law, how long it took to get rid of it and stuff like that. And it seems like, you know, there's effort in, how can I say it, non-helmet laws to bring the helmet law back, and Texas being one of them. How involved is, you know, the national level on ABATE with this going down in Texas?
We're watching it pretty darn close. I mean, we understand that that's always good in the background in Michigan. I actually ran for state representative one time in a district that I won't tell you my party, but we were 20% and I got 44% of the vote, and came real close to being a state rep. And the lady who won that position above, in spite of my wonderful effort, you know, became a real close friend of ours, and always advocated for us too. So our objective and my objective in this whole thing is to make sure that bikers are relevant in the political spectrum.
Well, you know what? I think you bring up a great point. I think more bikers need to get involved and run for office, if you ask me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree 100%. I'm wore out. I can't do that anymore.
Right, and you know, you go to talk about the power we have in the voting spectrum, and one example of that happened last year during the primaries in Waco, Texas, with that I call him a puke, D.A. Reyna, but he was in charge of that debacle at Twin Peaks, and Texas Biker Radio, Popeye Moss, and a lot of the COC clubs got together down there and really got the vote out. And to tell you how strong the biker vote is, we beat an incumbent by 20 percentage points. So you got to get involved with the political scene, man.
Yeah. Well, I was told I got to cut it off right now.
Now, one more guess.
One more guest. Hey, I appreciate you, Hollywood. Keep up the good work and give them hell all the time.
Oh, I'm always giving hell, man. I'll see you up at the
We're
party.
hoping to the field meet. Come on and drink beer with us.
Rock and roll.
Hey, my brother, we ain't got much time left, I know, but I got one more person I'd really like to get on. He's our MRF representative for the state of Michigan. His name is Jinx, and he's a cool dude.
Rock and roll, man. How you doing, Jake?
Not bad. How are you? You and I talked before.
Rock and
You and I
roll.
talked before, but we had a bad connection in that.
Oh, we got a better one today. Hopefully it stays good.
Right. The biggest thing I want to talk about is, we got a objective. Everyone's talking about this profiling thing. The biggest thing that we got to talk about is uniting bikers across this country. We cannot do it by ourselves. It takes all of us. Numbers mean everything. And until we get every biker across this country to realize what's happened to the bikers, they got to wake up, because it ain't just about us losing our rights. It's about our civil liberties in America, period.
Oh, you're exactly right. This is scary stuff that's happening now. Something that I didn't think could ever happen in the United States. Now, the government actually bringing a RICO trial against a motorcycle club, not to convict anybody, just to take their patches away. And you're right. This ain't only going to affect motorcycle clubs or bikers or any of that. This is America now that it's affecting.
You got it. And until the American people wake up and see what's going on in our country, brother, they don't realize it's more than just the freedom. It's about our civil liberties. It's about, just like you said, with the patch deal, the bike clubs and ABATE and everybody else in that fights for bikers' rights. We have under federal government, which is called trademarks. They're going against our trademark now. What everyone better realize is if they take an end to Mongols, they're going to come after everybody. And we got to fight that stuff. Like the COCs. I told you this before. Michigan is #1 throughout the United States that are sustaining members in the MRF because they know their liberties are up on grab. And that's what the rest of the country's got to start doing. It's about us being united, and numbers mean everything.
Now, how does somebody get involved with the MRF?
Very simple. The MRF's got a website. You can go on their website. And another thing I want to say about the MRF that people don't understand about it is, you talked to Tiffany earlier. We have an office in D.C., and ABATE's the ones that started the MRF. We have an office in D.C. It costs us $1,000 a day to have that office open in D.C. It's not chump change. It costs a lot of money that they can do this stuff.
Oh man, that's a lot of money right there. $1,000 a day. Yeah, people need to start getting involved in this because you guys are actually out there fighting for their rights, man. It's not about sitting on your asses anymore. This is legitimate stuff that's happening, and you got to get involved.
Right, and that's why I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. We appreciate this. This is talking to motorcyclists across the world, and they better realize that, we're the bottom line. And you said it not too long ago about the horse and buggies. Well, guess what? If they take our civil liberties away from us, they took everything away from us.
Well, one of the things with the Motorcycle Rights Foundation that I like, and I know that you guys can relate to. And I talk about it with the clubs all the time. If you don't get your act together, we're looking at freaking anti-consortium laws from, Oz and stuff like that. They're already throwing these gang laws out there and bunching clubs with them. We got to get it together. We really do, because we got a lot of representatives in office right now that are so far left. What is it? A poll was just taken. 50% of millennials believe in socialism. So we got to start worrying. We got to get out there and get involved.
Exactly. A good example of that. I mean, you look at what's happening in our country. I never thought I'd see a day that a person could threaten our president's life and be part of the political system and get away with it and be still in there. If you and I done something like that to threaten the president of the United States' life, where would we be?
We'd be straight in the stockade.
Yes.
Well, what's even worse is, now that we pivoted towards that a little bit, here we got a country with representatives that actually care more about illegals than they do about their own citizens. We have a lot of families across the United States that have lost family members to illegal immigrants. They killed them. And you got to get involved in this process. And that's one thing that I've started on Motorcycle Madhouse and the biker news site Insane Throttle is, yeah, it's about the biker life. We love riding, we love partying and stuff, but you got to get involved or there is no more America.
Exactly.
You got a lot of people that say, oh, politics, I don't want to get involved. You got to get involved, man. And now hearing that it costs $1,000 a day just to have your office maintained, man, you guys need it. So you got to get them involved to help out, you guys.
Right. But see, what that is too, and like Tiffany said, it ain't just Michigan that's doing this. It's every ABATE. We have an ABATE in every state in the United States. And that's what we do. We take and push to get people involved, not just in the ABATEs, but to get into the clubs, to get in with the MRF. It's about all of us being united and being on the same page.
Well, I think ABATE, MRF, MPP, they are the most needed organizations right now, more than they ever have been. And I'm one of the biggest advocates for ABATE. And that's just not because you guys party good. I love the parties, but you guys do a hell of a lot for the lifestyle. And that's why I'm always encouraging people. You know what? Don't worry about joining this or joining that. Join ABATE. That's the number one. If you're riding a motorcycle or you're in this lifestyle, the number one thing you should be doing is joining ABATE.
All right, bud. It's good talking to you again. We're going to have to cut off. We got to take and go back.
Rock and roll, man.
I'll be in touch with you some more, bro.
All right, bud. Yeah, we're about to go live on air, so what's up there, Hot Rod?
Are you enjoying this? Are you enjoying listening to these guys and what they got to tell you?
What's that, buddy?
This is coming from the horse's mouth, what these guys are telling you.
Oh, man, you know what? I really enjoyed interviewing them, and I think they bring a lot of, how can I say this, a lot of weight to the subject of what's going on right now within the biker lifestyle, the importance of getting involved with organizations like ABATE and AMA and stuff. Even though AMA has that history and stuff, a lot of people, on the club side are like, but you guys got to get involved, man. They're the ones who are actually out there fighting for you. And it's time that we get off our duffs, get involved with these organizations. That way we keep the rights that we do.
Right on, brother.
Right. And that was Hot Rod. Hopefully you guys enjoyed those interviews with ABATE of Michigan. Now, talking about ABATE of Michigan, you see right there in the right-hand corner, my right anyway, I don't know what you're looking at, but we're getting together a motorcycle awareness look twice and save a life ride, and information will be coming soon. Now, what that involves is we're going to be starting this ride out in Beloit, Wisconsin, and we're going to be ending it in ABATE of Michigan's party grounds. Hold on, I think I got Hot Rod calling here. Hot Rod, what's up, man?
Hey, trying to catch up with you.
Hey, man, I heard you got Man of the Year, man.
Yeah, it worked out all right.
Hey, man, who'd you have to bribe?
Oh, like a whole bunch of them.
Man, I love doing the interviews, man. That was educational, and I hope everybody out there enjoyed it. Everybody was really getting into the conversations as each one was speaking, and it was awesome that you guys came on, interviewed, and got the word out.
Well, it kind of enlightens the fact that people realize the bikers on your podcast that are listening realize just how important it is for us to stick together for our way of life, man. I mean, we dress our way, we act our way, we ride our bikes our way, and if we don't start working hard together and doing something like, making phone calls or helping each other do things, hell, we ain't going to get this opportunity, brother.
No, hell no. And by the way, hold on a second. I got to give a shout out to all the listeners over on iHeartRadio, Spotify, BF across Eastern Europe and all that stuff. They get mad because I only pay attention to my YouTube people. But go ahead. I do lives and I get all the complaints. Why don't you ever say hi to us? So there you guys go. There's your hi.
All right, I'll get hold of you that tomorrow or something.
Rock on, man. For this motorcycle awareness, I'm just talking about it on air right now. We're going to be starting out in Beloit, Wisconsin, ending it up at the Wolverine, Michigan party grounds, and we'll be doing designated pickups along the route for the new riders and stuff. We're starting a page over at HarleyLiberty.com about the ride, and more information to be coming soon about it. But yeah, everybody's gonna have to come and say hi to Hot Rod and all that, give him congratulations and stuff.
Oh man, you're gonna have a great time. Come hang out with us. We got live bands, we got a little shows. We usually put on some motorcycle games. So it's a pretty cool time, and it's relaxing. We got places to go swimming. I mean, don't be shy, man. It's an adult party.
Rock and roll. That means if it's an adult party, I'm going to get to see wet T-shirt contests, and we're going to go skinny dipping. Well, not me and you, but me and somebody else.
Yeah, that would be a little too much.
Rock and roll, Hot Rod. But awesome. Anybody who wants to join ABATE, go ahead. You can look up your state ABATE on the internet. And, it's $25 all over, ain't it?
Yeah, pretty much is. The Ohio ABATE is having their seminar coming up real shortly. So we have a couple of our representatives from Michigan that go there because we have a great working relationship with Ohio. And he comes to a lot of our stuff. So I'm pretty sure he'll probably come to the field meet as well.
Rock on, man. I really appreciate you coming on, Hot Rod.
Well, hey, brother, I tell you what, the only reason why I'm getting involved with this stuff is because what you're doing is going to save my way of life, brother.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope we can get a lot of people involved because they need to get off their duffs and get involved.
There ain't nothing to having more fun and enjoying the life that you enjoy when you got people out there protecting you. Thank you, and God bless you, man.
You too, buddy. And that was Hot Rod, Man of the Year for ABATE of Michigan. I love Hot Rod. What I really love is talking to the old graybeards. Oh, before I go on, thanks for the super chats, everybody. You guys are awesome. Chicago Rough Riders. Let's see here. We got Dan, who's 81 Berto supporter in the house. Got a lot of good stuff. Thanks, Southern Belle. I love my Southern Belle. Yeah, you know... Did you guys think it was funny that the Gremlins started hitting with the AMA? I think I was, interrogating him. I was actually getting to that point because when he's starting to talk about the loud pipes and stuff like that, and mine you can hear in the next state over, when the tramps get my fishtails on, you'd probably hear them 2 states over. But I never really got that one. I can see where they're coming from with the neighborhoods and blah, blah, blah. But hey, we're bikers. We do what the hell we want any damn way. But phone lines are open. If you want to call in, I'll give it a couple minutes. Let's see here. What else we got? Oh, thought the phone was reading. But yeah, go ahead, and if you want to call in, it's 847-957-1656 for those listening on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and all the other ones. But they get jealous when I just pay attention to my YouTube chat room. But they don't understand that. Yeah, it's on the radio right now, but I also do it live because it's more fun. I get to interact with people where the radio's the radio. They're listening to it on in their trucks and stuff like that. But hopefully, save the ginger snaps. I totally agree, and save the pink taco if you will. Have to save the pink taco. But John, you can talk about what you want. Go ahead and call in, man. You guys can talk when you call in. Throw a subject out there, man. We'll talk, It don't have to be on one subject or another. It can be whatever you want to talk about. That's cool. So, loud potato. You got to love it, Greg. But those who, hey, I'm saying, can I call from a rotary dial co-op? Fucking working, man. Hey, man, if it reaches me, go ahead. Oh my God, I got the best freaking people around. And you guys wonder why I pay attention to the YouTube chat room, man. They crazy in here, man. They get all nuts and shit like that. But so this ABATE party is going to be freaking cool, I hear. And Wolverine, Michigan's like way up there in Michigan. And it's all country. It should be a good ride. If you start out with this in Beloit, I think it's like a 466-mile ride one way. So it's going to be a good ride. As I say, through the route that we're planning, what we're going to do is put stops that other riders can join in right with the pack and ride all the way up. And hey, Michigan's a good thing because you see that 420 thing behind me? You can smoke it legally up there, and old Hollywood's going to be smoking the herb up in that motherfucker. As soon as we get to them campgrounds, it's lit up, it's gone. And I'm not much of a drinker, never have been. I haven't drank since 97, but damn, 420, great shit right there. But a couple more minutes, you guys. And if not, I'm going to end the show if there ain't no calls, nothing to talk about. Tomorrow we will be having a Harley Davidson thing. Wait till you see what the damn company did now. Personally, I think it's going to be a nail in the damn coffin for Harley Davidson. For what they did. And I'm just not talking about their prices or the model of bikes or the stupid live wire that came out. They did something really stupid that affects the dealerships. You're on air.
Okay, I just want to get this out there. I keep getting harassed. Everybody keeps saying I look like a cop. There's no fucking way I look like that dude from AMA. I'm telling you right now.
No, man, just with your bald head, man. The flashlight cop, man. You ain't no cop.
I just thought I'd lighten up the subject, man. These guys keep giving me shit.
Are they picking on you, man? Are you the fuzz?
It's fucking nonstop. It's because I'm 51 and I look so good. I get it, man.
Oh my God. Hey, man, Sinister says the cops. Hang up, it's the fuzz.
It's the fucking fuzz. Hey, but I'll tell you what. I'm going to check out ABATE over here in California. I'll see what they're all about. I don't ever really see them guys anywhere that I go out here in San Bernardino County. I don't know if they have a chapter out this way or not, but I'm out there on the weekend.
You know what, Dan, with ABATE, they're awesome. And you know what? Even the club members are involved in it, man. You got all the big five is involved in the ABATE. Their memberships in there. It's something you really should check out and get involved in because if you got a motorcycle, it used to be in the early days when I came, if you didn't have a Dan got hanged up on here. But regardless, hey, thanks, Steve, for that. But when you got involved in the motorcycle life, man, you got involved with ABATE. That was the first and foremost thing. It's not a club. It's not a riding club. It's a motorcycle rights organization, and everybody knew that. So get involved with it, man. This has nothing to do with politics as far as club stuff is concerned, and it's $25 a year. Get involved. You have to. They got the motorcycle rights organization in there. You also have other organizations like MPP you might want to support. That's the Motorcycle Profiling Project. You know, just like one of the graybeards that came on later in the interviews talked about in the 70s, it was horrendous. Now, that's one of the reasons, because, you know, you got a lot of new jacks that actually come on and they bitch, moan, complain about this or protocol that. And that's the reason right there, is because the old-time graybeards, they had to face the reality of when bikers weren't cool. Not like today where everybody can be a biker, you know, or motorcycle enthusiasts, as I call most of them. But it wasn't cool back then. And they had to go through some horrendous crap. So, of course, people who were in the lifestyle that put their blood, sweat, and tears into it to form what you have today is going to get an attitude problem about it. When stuff, you know, when you think you can just come right in and say, well, I don't think this is right, or this ain't the way it should be. Well, I'm sorry, you know, over 70 freaking years of tradition ain't just going to be thrown out the window because you don't like it. Go get a life is what I can tell you, man. But I really appreciate the super chats. That's real awesome of you guys. All that goes right back into keeping the show on air Monday through Friday, 7 to 7:30. If you like to donate by PayPal, it's right there on the screen at topfuelabd@gmail.com. Before I go, I'll be real busy in February bringing you guys some hardcore interviews from the Chicago Motorcycle Show, and also the big one, the international one in Chicago, as well as one in Wisconsin that's going to be coming up. Mama Tried. So that's a big one. So I'm going to get as many bike builders as I can on for you and shoot the motorcycle stuff. But really appreciate you guys tuning in today. Appreciate all the donations. Appreciate the support. And you guys be safe. It is snowing like hell here. Thank God we made it through this one. But with that, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.